How are you? And I am really looking forward to our little discussion today. I'm playing with my laptop today because next week I'm going to be out of town, and so I need to put this video on my laptop next week. So I'm messing around with doing it this week just to see how it turns out. Please let me know if something is not coming through. Obviously, as you can see there, my little webcam uh, on my desktop computer is set up, and that would probably get a lot clearer video, but you're looking at the laptop as well, which is why I'm unshaven and I have a t-shirt on, and so this is called Rough It Week. I'm still in the same place, but act like we're camping out. Anyway, here we are. This is week 4. This week we are finishing up with the infants, and we'll be talking a little bit about the second stage of life, I guess you could call it, where children are about the age 2 to 4, 2 to 5. Now, we call those the play years, and the reason is because the way that children primarily develop psychologically is through play. Which is kind of ironic because people love to talk about things like social learning and socialization and all that happy stuff, which it's funny we don't really handle that very well, because how do we really learn how to play? And how do we learn how to share? How do we learn how to interact with other people? Well, we do that through our interactions with the people who know how to do that, which is really in infancy with our adults, with the caregivers, like I was talking about last week. So this week, when you're looking at that last chapter, chapter 7, I believe it is, that chapter 7 is what is going to cover the discussion or the understanding of social learning and how we learn from synchronizing ourselves with our adult caregivers and also attaching with our adult caregivers. So there'll be a lot on that. Keep in mind, though, remember, we don't want the blind to lead the blind. So you want your children to learn how to interact with other people. You want your children to learn how to interact with other people from observing people who are doing it right, not by just throwing them out there with a bunch of kids who are not learning either, and so we're all not learning together. Okay, so keep that in mind. You also see as we are transitioning into the play years, where children are 2, 3, 4, 5, that you're going to start to see the culmination of those first couple of years, the biological development of the brain, how we as children are prepared to learn, how we are prepared to develop language, how we're prepared to learn vocabulary and remember what words mean and how to use them, how we are prepared to use our hands to write and to color and to cut with scissors and all of that. So focus on that. Remember that the biological is then going to lay the foundation for the social, going to lay the foundation for the cognitive. Okay? So I'm hoping you have a wonderful week. I'm hoping you really enjoy our discussions. I think last week it was the discussion on the peanuts. I'm always finding cool things like that. I mean, for years people really were worried about peanuts, and I know I read a lot of you were concerned because I think you have peanut allergies. A couple of you really had some rough times in there, but we're learning more about how to help children to develop biologically so that they're not so susceptible. And it's interesting. I mean, it wasn't so many years ago that if you looked for like a little kids activity, that most of the kids were pretty healthy and running around, and now we have so many kids who are not running around, but they have to like do asthma inhalers or have to carry around EpiPens or whatever. And I think people really wonder why it is that it seems that the health of children has really dropped off over the years. And I think we're going to find that probably children were always a little weak. Maybe now we recognize those things. it's not a bad thing. It just means that we care and that we want to address those things and try to help them. So remember, let's always have an attitude in child psychology that if it's a problem, what is the problem? The problem is maybe just a matter of adaptation or accommodation, and that the most important thing for us is to look at each child individually to see what that child needs and to give it a go and do the best we can to help them out. So anyway, y'all have a great week. Thank you very much, and we'll be seeing you next week.